Hey, I want to make a quick video here to elaborate on an Instagram post I made earlier today. I posted a picture of a spent casing in my backyard where I had to fire my handgun in self-defense last night. And a lot of people are wanting the whole story and like, oh, are you okay? Your family okay? Yeah, we're fine. We were never in any real danger. But last night around 1 a.m., the dogs started wanting outside real bad. Like they were really anxious to get out there for something. So I let them out front. Mavis went out, sniffed around for about 2 seconds, and then immediately decided that I'm out of here, went back inside. Turnip, however, stood there looking into the tree line, just growling. He wasn't barking, he was just growling. So I was like, if he's not barking, it's something he don't like. So I was like, I don't know what's going on over there, but something's out there. Then I could hear animal noises, like weird animal noises. I don't know what it was. At first I thought, is it an elk? What is it? It sounded almost like an elk, but almost like more of a grunting sound than what an elk makes when he makes her call. So I was like, oh, maybe it's an elk. So I go back in the house. I get Turnip. I have to drag him back in the house. He doesn't want to go. So I take him back in the house. I go back in the house. Well, I go into my bedroom. Well, my bedroom has a window that opens up towards the tree line over there. And I can hear something. And I'm not talking like a little like footsteps or something. I'm hearing like, it sounds like someone's breaking trees in half. I mean, it sounds like someone's breaking big branches off of trees. So I'm like, what is that? So I grabbed my flashlight, grabbed my carry gun, my Beretta at the time is what I had. So I grabbed my Beretta and I went outside. And I went over to where I could see the area where I could hear the noise coming from, but it's so thickly wooded there, I can't really see much. But I can hear something. I can still hear like branches being broken. So I'm like, hey, is somebody over there? You know, no one answers me, and I notice the noise stops. And so I kind of start to walk down along my fence line a little bit because I hear it start to move down along the fence line. So every time I would go down a little further and I would stop, I could hear it walking, and then I would hear it stop. And these were heavy footsteps. They weren't like, you know, a cat or like a mountain lion would make. So I go, hey, is somebody over there? If you're over there, you need to tell me because I don't want to shoot somebody, you know, that I don't have to shoot. Not a word. And about that time, I go up to the fence and I'm trying to shine my flashlight through the dense brush right there. And a big old figure stands up in the trees. I can't see much of it because, like I say, the light is all being blocked by the foliage there. But I can kind of see the shape of it come up. And the first thing I'm like is, that's not an elk, that's a big old bear. So I'm like, oh crap, big old bear. But I'm like, been around bears my whole life, not all that worried about it. So I'm like, get out of here, bear. But it just stands there and it looks at me. Or at least I assume it's looking at me. It could have been looking the other way, but I assume it was looking at me. And I guess it was because right about that time, it starts to come through the bushes at me. Not quickly, just kind of, blah, 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 through the bushes at me. And I was like, get the fuck back, bear. I'm like, he's going to false charge me. I know it's a bluff probably, but I'm like, I ain't taking any chances. There's only thing between me and him is a 5-foot chain link fence. I ain't going to slow down a bear. So I took my gun and I fired a round into the ground. At that point, it took off back down the hillside, went down the mountainside. I went back inside. My family was like, what the fuck? Why'd you fire your gun? I'm like, well, probably a bear in the yard. The rest of the night, Turnip would not leave the window. He sat in the window the whole night watching out the window. In fact, this morning when I got up, him and Mavis were still looking out the window. Like they're like, better not come back here. But just want to let everyone know that's why I fired my gun last night. It wasn't at a person. It was at a bear. Most likely a bear. I mean, I guess it could have still been an elk, but the shape was much more like a bear to me than it was an elk. And when it started coming towards me, it definitely looked like it was walking. So elk don't tend to rear up on their back legs and walk like bear do. And we have bear coming through here all the time. I go out in the woods today and I look. And there's a clear path where whatever's been going through there goes through there. And I also found a big pile of like fallen tree branches, and there's a dead tree there. And they have been freshly rolled over and pulled up and everything and broken to expose where like all the bugs would be underneath and the mushrooms, etc. So pretty sure it was a bear. And no, I didn't fire at the bear. You very seldomly have to fire at a bear. They usually don't want anything to do with people unless they're sick or starving or whatever. So he was probably a little hungry last night, went out for a snack. I interrupted his snack. He didn't take kindly to that, so he tried to bluff charge me away. I fired a round into the ground, left a nice little hole in the ground. If you wonder what a 387 SIG from Minuteman ammo looks like when it hits the ground, leaves a nice little snake hole looking hole. So imagine what that would do to a person, because that's solid ground. But that's all that happened. Nothing really that dangerous, and except for maybe getting, making shitting myself because of being scared shitless by a bear at 1:30 in the morning when it's pitch black outside. And when it's dark out here, it's black. It's not like dark in the city where it's like, I can still see. Out here, it's like you can't see your hand in front of your face when there's no moon. And there was like cloud cover last night, so it was black as hell. So just want to let everyone know, that's why I fired my gun. I'm okay. The bear's okay. It's just part of life, living on the mountain.